I just think that, I think that there had been, a little bit of fractured mythology out there for Superman. People were just unsure where he stood, what he was about, like what it meant, all that. I mean, even my kids, I remember talking to them about like, I said, guys, I'm going to make a scene on Krypton. It's going to be awesome. They're like, what's Krypton? I was like, what's Krypton? What are you talking about? And the kids are like, well, Superman's an alien? I'm like, yeah, okay, we need to get to work on this. So those kinds of things, you take for granted, I think that we really had to go back and clean house and get it all straightened out, because I think that's just made audiences understand what he's about. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, it's funny because that movie is, pretty well reviewed. The critics seem to like the movie. But I just think that and it was a love letter in a lot of ways to what Richard Donner did. I honestly, and I like the film, so, it's hard for me to say what pop culture likes and what they don't like, that's for sure. And that's credit also to Kevin Costner, because Kevin Costner can do with a look. He can break your heart with like 2 seconds of a look and no dialogue that will just kill you. Well, I just take this mythology super seriously. I grew up with it. I don't think Richard Donner. If you read the comic books, they're not funny. Richard Donner added that tone to the character, because I believe that at that time when the film was made, that making a superhero, there was a little teeny bit of apology for making a Superman movie. He was a little bit like, don't take it too seriously. It's only Superman. Where my point of view is take it very seriously. It's Superman. I honestly think that superheroes are like our modern mythology. They help us understand this, 21st century, impossibly technologically advanced, global warming, whatever you want to say, all the pitfalls that befall us, and that in the smallest way, superheroes help us, comfort us through that madness. They're not an answer, but they might just give you that one respite from the insanity. I really think that there is a rural wisdom that is transcendent, that is almost ancient, and it has to be Kansas, and it has to be Jonathan and Martha, farmers, very salt of the earth people that are unaffected by sort of the city morality that comes and goes with fashion, but they exist beyond time in a way. Yeah, no, and the thing that's interesting about, I think, Jonathan Kent is that this is a pretty complex problem that he's dealing with, with this little Superman child that he's raising. But he understands its global implications. He's not naive. He's just grounded. Well, I guess it goes back to what I was saying before about I did not make up those the relationship to Jesus that Superman has. I mean, it's in the mythology pretty heavily that this being from another world sent his only son to Earth to save us. I just felt like I really wanted to sort of emphasize the sort of gravity of his mythology by saying that, or showing that there was this relationship, and that it shows the sort of mythological power of Superman. Just just really trying to understand, how audiences feel about it and if they like it, and that I'm sort of artistically satisfied by it. As far as the spreadsheets go and the business side goes, I hope those guys are happy. I've done my damnedest, so but I haven't been home to talk to everyone, so we'll see how they're feeling. I think they're feeling pretty good. The 1978 movie.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. And I'll tell you, the thing is, it really is the predecessor to all, basically it's the original tempo. It's the original, big movie. It's, there were no superhero movies before Superman, and now, they're the staple. So it's very interesting and groundbreaking film. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's hard for me to analyze it other than to say that, this one thing with Superman was that I felt like people didn't understand exactly what they were getting, I feel like unlike the Spider-Man reboot where we redid Spider-Man, but it is exactly the same story that they had just seen a little while ago. The thing, at least with Superman, is we hadn't had an origin story since 1978. It wasn't like, it just happened yesterday. So I think it has to do with the fact that people, they do love these superheroes, and they like to sit around the proverbial cinematic campfire and tell those stories over and over. I think it's in our DNA to sort of experience that mythology over and over. It's the way we've told stories for thousands of years. So maybe that's how it is. Yeah, I don't know. I've always loved strong female characters in my movies, and I'm an advocate of female action. I think that's a thing that can could be awesome. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, what to do about that other than to say I think that we got to keep trying because I think it's untapped. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I feel like I agree with you. I feel like it's one of those movies that everyone was ripe to jump on. They were ready to hate it before it came out. So, but I'm incredibly proud of the movie. I love the movie. Yeah, I really don't think about it that way. I don't go oh, this could be the biggest one. I'm going to make a freaking giant movie here. I just kind of approach it. Really, the movies I make are the ones that keep me up at night. The ones where I wake up in the middle of the night and start drawing some, images from the movies that I want to see. And those are the ones that I end up making. If that happened to happen with one that was low budget movie shot on the wrong side of the tracks, with some seedy characters, that would be that. But it just happens to be that the ones that keep me up are these giant crazy ones.